Hey guys, welcome to Big Pharma. This is a brand new game. It's just gone into beta, into open beta, and you can actually join that open beta. All you got to do is pre-order the game. It costs about $20, and yeah, this is a game that seems quite complicated on the face of it, but actually once you get used to it, it's actually a pretty simple game, and it's kind of fun. Let's play the game and find out how it works. The missions are pretty much all time based, so it's like you got to do a certain amount of stuff within a certain time limit. So I've gone through the tutorials and played a couple of missions, and I've pretty much got the hang of this game. I think we're going to start off with one of the beginner missions, and it's a simple target: make 1 million within 10 years. Now that's not a profit of 1 million; that's a total revenue. Okay, so you don't have to worry about your costs so much, but you kind of do, as you'll see when we get into the game. Let's play and I'll show you how it all works. First of all, we have to choose a Chief Executive Officer. This screen actually really doesn't matter. We have to name our company, so we're going to call it, of course, Skye Pharma. And this model, you can't change it, but I just pick the hottest looking girl. Okay, so here's our factory, and the first thing you want to do is pause the game because the clock is running, and I want to explain this to you, so we're going to have that on pause for a little while. Okay, how does this game work? It's so it's so simple, guys. These ports are your import and export ports. So you bring in raw materials, you process them by building machines, and we'll cover that in a second, and then you export them, and these handle both import and export. You can use them interchangeably. Okay, so let's look at our ingredients and how do we make drugs. So here's our ingredients tab, and you can also access just by clicking on the ingredients tab. And here are our ingredients. Now you usually start off with a couple of ingredients, and then the rest of them you're going to have to explore. They're undiscovered, and you have to hire explorers to go out into the jungles of the world and find these things. Let's look at the ones that we've got. We've got raw fortis juice and foaming wood snake juice. Now these have a cost, so that you have to actually buy them, and then they have up to 4 effects. And I think half the problem that people have with this game is that it's badly labelled. Right, this should say like effects 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So that people know what the hell they are, right? And this number up here, this is like the most important thing in the game. And if you understand this, then you understand the game. This is the concentration, okay? And you can turn these effects on and off, both the positive and the negative effects. You can turn them on or off by changing this concentration. And a lot of the machines in the game are all about adjusting the concentration either up or down. Right, so you know what, let's actually make a drug, and we're going to start off, we'll just pick one of these, and you kind of want to pick the one that is going to make you the most money. Now this one is a painkiller, so it's got an effect of being a painkiller, but it's also got a side effect of causing constipation. Okay, but these things are only either active or inactive depending on this range. So for a positive effect, it's got a green range, and for a negative effect, it's got this red range. Now, right now, we're outside the range of both. We've got a concentration of 13. This painkiller effect is active at a range of between 5 and 12. So we'd have to decrease the concentration for this to become active. Okay, same with this one over here. This one removes warts, which is wonderful. It's got a concentration of 17 at the moment. We'd have to reduce that by 1 in order to make that effect active. You also have to look at where the effects overlap, because what you want is to have the good effects and avoid the bad effects. Now, for example, this one, if we reduce the strength by, or the concentration by 1, then we'll activate this painkiller effect. But we won't have activated this causes constipation effect. You gotta love this stuff. And I tell you what, if you're a hypochondriac, don't play this game, because after 30 minutes you'll be twitching like a bunny on crystal meth. Right, so let's import this and make a drug out of it. Let's make a painkiller. So we click on import, and boom, this is going to start importing this drug. And if you click on this, it'll show you what you're importing. So we're importing raw fortis juice at a strength or a concentration of 13. Right, how the hell do we turn this into a drug? Okay, easy. Really, really easy mechanics in this game. You need a conveyor belt to move things around. Now, in an earlier release of this, you could actually plug machines directly into each other. Now you have to have at least one conveyor belt section in between each machine. So, let's put a conveyor belt there, right? And immediately, if I take this off pause, There we go. Right. Look. Oh, and I'll pause it again. Immediately, we get this. Oh, I'll zoom in a bit so you can see it. This has started shipping in our valor-like secretion, okay, which is this ingredient. Okay, so how do we now turn this into a drug? Well, we take one of our machines. Now, these are our basic machines. And initially, you'll only have the dissolver or the evaporator. That changes depending on the mission you're playing, but with this mission, we've only got the dissolver and the evaporator. What do they do? The evaporator increases the concentration by 1. The dissolver decreases the concentration by 1. See? Very simple. These advanced machines, the Ionizer decreases the concentration by 3. The agglomerator increases the concentration by 3. So it's all about just increasing and decreasing these concentrations. So let's take a look at this this ingredient again. We need to reduce the concentration by 1 to make this into a painkiller. Right, so we take a dissolver, right, and you can see that it's got a red arrow and a green arrow. The green arrow is the import and the red arrow is the export. So we need to line this up in such a way that we can get our ingredients into the machine. So you know what, we can just push it over in this corner. Now, a lot of people fuss about the placement of the machines and whatever and try to cram them into tiny areas. You kind of really don't have to do that. Let's just get rid of it. I want to show you this because this is kind of important, because a lot of people worry about the amount of space you've got. The amount of space is way less important than the number of input outputs you've got, and I think you'll see that as we go along. So kind of don't worry about it too much. So if we take a basic machine, a dissolver, and we pop it over, let's pop it over in this corner, right? Now, the belt is not going to hook up to that, right? Because the belts only align themselves when you place them, okay? So, but it's no problem. We can delete that, right? And then we can take a new belt, pop it there, and then it'll take the drugs in and ship it into this machine. Excellent! Right, let's put another belt on here so that the drugs will come out. And you can actually watch the effect of the machine. So I'm going to take this off pause, right, and I'm going to click on this machine. And you'll see the drugs will come in, then they'll go into the machine, and you can see what's happening. And you can see, if I pause this, you can see that the concentration is being reduced and this painkiller effect becomes activated. Simple, isn't it? Now, the way this works is like on a 1 day per action basis. And if you look at this process time, this is actually important. A lot of people miss this. The process time is important. Now, this will do its job, right, once a day. And your ingredients only get shipped in 1 per day. Some people think you can put like multiple conveyor belts off this, but no, you only get 1 of these coming in 1 per day. So it comes in, it's going to get processed and come out. Now, other machines don't have the same process time. Some of them take like 2 days to do their job, in which case then you can hook up multiple, and we'll do that and I'll show you. Right, so that's it. If we now click on this, we've got this, which is that, and then if we click on this, now it's got the 12 strength and it's got the painkiller activated. Right, what do we do now? Well, we simply make it into a pill and sell it. So we go down to our makers, and we've got 2 different machines. There's the pill printer, which is the basic one, which we've got, and then the creamer, which we don't have access to. But this has some increased effects, so it'll make our value greater. So it adds $30 to the value when we sell it, which is pretty damn good. And it reduces the strength of any negative effects. So if we have drugs which have side effects, now ours doesn't, fortunately, but if you've got side effects, you can reduce the effects of those and make the pills more popular by making them into a cream rather than a pill. There you go. Easy, isn't it? Right. So we're going to put a pill printer in. And these are kind of easy to place because they're just like straight in and out. So pop in a pill printer. Now let's take a look at our pill printer machine. Our pill printer machine has a process time of 2, which means it's going to take 2 days to do its job. So that means that this machine is going to be producing them every day, and then it's only going to get processed once every 2 days. Well, the way we get around that is we put in another pill printer right next to it, and then you take a conveyor belt and you can create T-junctions just like that, right? Just click and drag and it'll create a T-junction. And now this will feed into here, and then while it's waiting, the next one that comes out will feed into here. Oh yeah. Once we've got our pills made, all we've got to do is ship them out through an export port. So, boom, hook that up, and now our machine is fully functioning. So let's turn it on and let's see what happens. So we've got our ingredient, our processed ingredient coming through here. It goes into a pill printer, and we should see a pill pop out the other end. Ha 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 ha. Let's pause that for a second. Right, and let's take a look at our pill printer, and you can see that it's just converting the ingredient into a finished pill. Nothing very special. And then if we look here, here's our actual pill. We've got a combined value is increased by 20 because we put it through a pill maker. The combined value is now 122. Okay, so if we go back to the ingredients, right, you can do all the math. The basic value is 102, and then we go to production. We added $20 value by making it into a pill, so it's worth 122. Haha. Our raw material costs 35. Excellent. And then our processing costs. We put it through this machine. This machine costs $10 to do its job. Then we put it through the pill maker. That costs $20 to do its job, so a total of 30. So we end up with processing costs of 30, and that means that our current profit per pill is 57. Okay, pretty darn simple. Now you'll notice that we're currently making a loss. We're in the red. Well, why is that? And that's because we've run some of these things through these processes, so we've had the costs, but we haven't shipped it out and sold it yet. So let's run this on a little bit. Here we go. They're just starting now. So you can see that we've got one of these coming out all the time. Now it will ask you to name your drug, right? And here's our thing. And this is the Skye ache beater. Gotta love it. Yeah, we'll accept that name. All this forget does is just take you back into the factory. It's just in case you've created the wrong thing, you can just click forget. That's all that's for. So we'll accept that name. And now our factory should start shipping out the pills. And each one is going to make us a profit of, oh, look, 122 for each one sold. Excellent. So now you can see that we've gone into the green, which is beautiful. Now, because you've got the processing costs going off and the sales coming in slightly differently, you'll see this number kind of go up and down a little bit, but it tends to settle down. So we're making $57 per day. Well, that's really nice, but it's going to take us a hell of a long time to get to $1 million. So we need to make more drugs. How do we make more drugs? Well, we buy more factory space. So I'm going to get this one. Excellent. Now, we could just make loads and loads more of this drug. You know, why not just repeat this like all over the factory? Well, this is where the whole company sales aspect comes into it. So let's have a little bit of a look at the company. So here is our product that we're making, the Skye ache beater. And as you add more drugs, you'll see the other drugs down here. So we've got an active effect of a painkiller. It's got a cure rating, and this will kind of go up and down. And if you've got side effects and they're bad, then this will go down. If the positive effects are very good, then this will go up. Right, so far we've sold 9 of these. Whoa, wonderful. And our current value, 122, and our current profit is 57. And that's the thing. These are the current figures because there's a whole bunch of stuff that can change. Oh, yeah. Well, what can change? Okay, well, let's go and take a look at this thing over here, cures. Right, if we look at painkillers, painkillers have a pretty much a constant demand through the year. It doesn't fluctuate. Right? But if we look at something like cold symptoms, here you go. If we look at cold symptoms, you can see that in the winter months, demand is high, but in the summer months, demand drops. Okay, so the value of this drug is going to be more in the winter months than it is in the summer months. So that's the first effect. Let's get rid of this because we don't need this objectives up here for the moment. We'll keep an eye on that later. This is the number of people who are suffering from this particular ailment. Let's stick with painkiller for now. So there are 4,500 people who want painkilling drugs. We've supplied 9, right? So this is the net demand, 90%. And over here, this is the number of people who've been permanently cured. Because some of your drugs can permanently cure people. And the more people that you permanently cure, the less demand there's going to be. Right? So permanently curing people actually isn't a good thing. And this is the whole thing about the pharmaceutical industry. They just want to keep selling you drugs. They don't want to cure you. It's all about the money, guys. It's all about the money. Right. So you can see that the saturation. So that's like how many drugs we're selling into the market divided by the number of people who want the drug. There you go. Nice and simple. Okay, so, right, why don't we just produce a ton of these drugs because we'll oversaturate the market, the value will fall, and then it won't be good. But we're only going to be producing, months are 30 days. we're producing 1 pill per day, so we're going to be producing 30 pills per month, right? And you can see, to satisfy 4,500 people, we could actually make quite a lot of these. So, you know what? That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go back to production, right? And we're going to produce another one of these. Like, why the hell wouldn't we? It's a great drug, makes us a lot of money. Let's do it. So, we want exactly the same setup. We want a dissolver and a couple of pill processors. So, let's go basic, and we'll take a dissolver, and we'll put the dissolver. I'm going to put the dissolver. Yeah. This is where selecting your inputs and outputs is kind of a good idea to like give it a bit of thought. If we put this on this side, then we're going to have a conveyor belt going all around here. Whereas if we put it on this side, then it can just like come straight out here. And if we spin it around that way, then you can really cram them in. But you kind of don't need to, guys. You really don't need to. So you know what? I'm just going to put this like I'm going to put it up against this wall because it's just convenient, right? And then we want a conveyor belt to push the stuff in, then we want a conveyor belt to bring the stuff out, and then we just push it through a couple of pill printers. So, makers, pill printer, and spin this around. We'll have a pill printer, let's see, pill printer there, conveyor belt, create a T-junction, ship it out, and then we want to do the same thing there, and boom! And we've created a second production line for, oh, but I didn't select the drug. So now we go over here, click this, and import this, and boom. But you know what? As well as producing this, exactly the same process would actually work for this drug, because all we want to do is reduce the concentration by 1, and this would be a great drug to sell as well. So we've got a very, very simple production line for producing both of these drugs. So let's do it, you know. We'll have 2 of these, we'll produce 2 lots of these and 2 lots of these. So import that. Right, that's that production line set up. I'm now going to buy some more floor space. Now, how much money have I got? Well, you start with 50,000, and you have to be, you know, a little bit aware of that, because setting up these production lines, if you set up complicated production lines and buy loads and loads of machines, then you can run out of cash pretty quickly. But if you're sensible about it and you just get these very simple production lines to kick off with, you'll find that you can really get a big boost. Now, each time you buy floor space, the cost of the next one goes up. And I'm going to buy this one, and I'm going to buy this one, because we want 2 more production lines. Right. So now, what are we going to do? We're going to have exactly the same thing. So all we want is a dissolver. Oh, and I'll just show you this, because this is kind of worth knowing about. Now, how are we going to bring this one in? I think we're going to bring this one like, you know, over here, don't we? Yeah, probably about there would be a good plan. Yeah. Once you put them down, right, you can actually move these things around. Yeah, and if you want to, you can, instead of demolishing them and you get half the money back, you can actually move them around and like store them in the corner and use them later. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. For now, let's get some more production lines set up. So what we're going to do, we're going to be importing this foaming wood snake juice. So let's import that, and then we're going to ship it into this machine here, and then all we need to do is ship it out to a couple of pill printers. So pill printer, and let's see how we're going to do this. Yeah, you know what, we'll just put one. I mean, it just goes to show, like, floor space, you've got like way, as long as you're sensible about it, you've got way more floor space than you actually need. So let's put a conveyor belt in there, we'll extend it to there, and then we'll put a conveyor belt there and flip that around there. And there we go, we're done. Another production line. And we want to do the same one more time over here. So same thing. What do I want? I want a dissolver. And where are we going to do? I guess we'll bring it in here. Now, we want to be able to use these as well. So I think what we're going to do is, how are we going to do this one? I'm thinking of maybe bringing in like that. Yeah, we'll do it like that. So we'll bring the stuff in there, and then we'll ship it round there. Yeah. And then we'll put in a couple of pill printers. I could have done this a little bit more if I get rid of. Yeah. How should we do this? You know what? Let's just put them in there, and I'm going to be wasteful of space, because I could put it there, right, but I'm going to put it here. There's kind of no point cramming them unless you've got massively complicated processes, which you can have later in the game. You kind of don't need to worry about it too much. So let's put a belt in there. We'll extend it to that one. Then we'll bring that round here. And then we'll extend that one. Right, so we've got another one set up. So now, we've spent quite a lot of money. We've spent like 30,000. But as soon as I press go, this is going to start producing tons and tons and tons of stuff. Right. Oh, hang on a second. I need to select my import. Oh. These are sometimes difficult to click on. Foamy wood snake juice. Import, please. Right. Now, initially, our costs are going to go, like, way high, because we're bringing all this stuff in, right, and we're processing it. We've got all those costs, but we're not shipping it out yet. Right, hang on. Let me pause the game for a second, because up here, we've got a new product. Skye Warty Growth Relief. Yes, do I want to name this? Yes, I do. So now we can get this going on. And you'll see up here we'll get various events that happen, which are also going to affect our sales strategy as we go forward. Right, are we producing pills on all of these? Yes, we are. This is producing our Warty Growth Relief. This is also producing our Warty Growth Relief. And then over here, we're getting ache beater and ache beater over here. Right. Now, once all of these are shipping out and selling, we should see that our profits start to go up quite a lot. Because each one of these is making us at least 50, a profit of 50. So we should be making well over $200. So 235, 252. It looks like it's going to oscillate between those two kind of numbers. So we're making around 252. Right, let's pause that for a second. Let's go and look at our company screen. Right, and now you can see we've got two drugs. Right, this has got a D rating. This has got a C+ rating, and this is how many we're selling per month. This will go up to 60 for both of them eventually. And then we're making $52 on this one. We're making $70 on this one. Now, hang on a second. Is this going down? Yeah, the current value has gone down a little bit. Remember, this was like 120, and it's dropped a little bit because we're producing more drugs. And also, we've got competition. Now, at the moment, our competition isn't doing anything, right? But they're going to start to produce competing drugs, or potentially competing drugs. And then that's going to increase the saturations in those markets, and prices may drop. But then you can also get effects, events which affect those drug values as well, but we'll see that happen. Now, at this point, our production is going great. We're making lots of money, which is wonderful. We need to invest some of that in research and in exploration. Okay, so let's first of all have a look at this cure screen again. So these are all the things that we can do. Now, our drugs are making, like they're selling for like $120, $130 by the time we've added in a little bit of value. But if we upgraded these, then we could make a lot more. See, these sell for, like, if we upgraded this from a painkiller to something that eases migraine, then it'd be worth $250. Ooh, more money. Good thing. And this one, instead of removing warts, can become a female contraceptive drug, also selling for over $250. Awesome. But if we look at the these 97 and 90%, these are the saturations in the market, or the net demand. Sorry, the net demand in the market. And you can see that there's big demand for an ease migraine, right? But there's still, like, anything over 90 is good demand. In fact, anything over, like, as long as there's demand, you can sell pretty much anything. So what do you need to upgrade these effects into these super duper effects? And there are 4 levels to these effects. So this is a level 1 effect. You can upgrade it to a level 2, and then to a level 3, and ultimately to a level 4. Right. Woo. Sounds complicated, but it's not really, is it, guys? It's just like you take an ingredient, you plug it into a machine which upgrades it, and then you get something else. It's easy. So this one upgrades with an evaporator. We've already got an evaporator. This one upgrades with something called an ionizer, and we don't have one of those yet. Right, this is where research comes in. So let's go to research. Here is our tech tree, and these tech trees are actually quite big, right? Now, this is a fairly simple one, right? But you can see that there's quite a lot to research. I got to say, this is quite a good game. Now, over here, here's our dissolver. And here's the ionizer that we want to research. Okay, and over here there's an agglomerator. Well, the ionizer, if you look over here, you'll see the effects. The ionizer fires beams of charged particles into your drugs. Yeah, whatever. What it does is it decreases the concentration by 3. So instead of having 3 dissolvers linked together, each taking it down by 1, you could have 1 ionizer and just do the job in one go, right? And the same with the agglomerator. This increases by 3. Right? So it would be a very cool idea to research these things, wouldn't it? Now, this takes 1 scientist to research. Okay, well, we definitely want to do that. So we hire a scientist. But hiring a scientist costs $3,000. Not only that, they cost you $30 per day. And to be honest, the hire cost is not the important thing. What you need to watch is how much they're costing you per day. But you know what? We're going to hire one of those guys to start work on our ionizer. We're also going to hire one to work on the agglomerator because we're going to need these in the future. So I'm going to hire another one of these. But that's going to cost me $60 a day, and that's going to directly hit my bottom line. Right? You get to work on the agglomerator. Now, we could get to work on a creamer. Ooh, remember the creamers? They decrease the side effects of drugs, and they increase the value when you sell them. So these are really, really good. Right? So now this takes 2 scientists to research. So we'd have to hire 2 scientists, which could cost us another $60 a day. But you know what, guys? It's really worth doing. So I'm going to hire 2 of these guys, and I'm going to get them working on this, which is going to unlock up here, and it's going to unlock the creamer. Oh yeah, right. So that's our research. Let's also look at ingredients, because you remember we could hire explorers. Now explorers are even more expensive. These guys cost $50 a day, and they cost $5,000 to hire. Woo, expensive. So, like right now, to be honest, we don't really need to hire more to explore more ingredients, because the 2 ingredients that we've got are both great, but these are randomly generated, and sometimes they won't be so nice, and sometimes you'll have the positive effects are within the same range as the negative effects. So you can only produce a painkiller, for example, that has a nasty side effect, which is not good. Come on. So then you're going to need to go off and get more new ingredients. Now, this only requires 1 explorer to research this. So you know what? We're going to hire 1 explorer, and we're going to assign him over there, and he's going to go off and he's going to find this drug. Now, as well as the basic ingredients and the basic effects that they also have catalytic effects. These catalysts, and the different catalysts have different symbols, and you'll find that to upgrade certain ingredients you need certain catalysts to be added to them. That's later on in the process, and we'll get to that. But yeah, we're gonna start. It's a good idea to kind of start the process. So we've just added like $50, and our scientist, which costs 120, so that's 170. Now remember, we were only making 150 a day, right? So we've eaten into our profits. We're only going to be making about 70 a day, but we're going to be researching a whole bunch of other stuff. And by doing that research early, you'll find that in the later part of the game, you'll really boost your revenues and profits. Okay, shall we get back to our production? Let's get back to our production, and let's turn this on. Now, if you've got this turned on, when you go into these other screens, right, this will keep running. I want you to look over here, and you can see these numbers are still going. So just be careful about spending a lot of time on these screens if your production's running. It's best to pause the game, go off and sort this out, and then come back and turn your production back on. Right. Whew, man. Right, let's go and have a look at our production now. Now, pretty soon we should start to be having events happen, which will potentially change our strategy. But for right now, I think we should look at doing an upgraded drug. But we need to get some cash coming in. We're getting less than 100. Now, what we could do is we could buy more floor space and set up more of these production lines. The thing is, these drugs aren't making us huge profits. Let's go and have a look at our company tab again and see. This one's making us 77, this one making us 52. We want to be making bigger profits than this on our drugs. So how about we go and have a look at the ingredients and see about making one of these improved drugs. So our painkiller one, now that upgrades with an evaporator, which we've already got. And you have to look at the pre-requirements. This will upgrade, but it needs to be at a concentration of 7 to 10. Well, if we change the concentration down to between 7 and 10, it's going to have this constipation effect active. Ooh, we don't want that. Well, what about if we upgrade this to a female contraceptive? Now that works at a strength of between 13 and 15, or a concentration of 13 to 15. Now our negative side effect is not active at that level, so this is a great one to upgrade. But of course we need the Ionizer, so it's all about the research on the Ionizer. So let's go back to production. Look, we're already up to $8,000 and climbing. Let's look at our objective. We have already earned 33,000. Good grief, that's huge. But we've only got a little profit. Remember, this is total revenue. It's the total value of your sales, not the profits, right? So the more stuff we sell, the better we do, even if we're not necessarily making great profits out of it. How's our research doing? Let's go and take a look. Well, our research is coming along. This is already 52% done. This is already 52% done, and the same with this, right? So another 2 months, and we're going to have our Ionizer, and we can do an upgraded product. Woohoo! Party! Now, 2 months. I've got to sit here and wait here for like 2 months without doing anything. Well, you can double the speed. So if you click on this, we can double the speed. Woo! Great. So that can tick away, and our time will run a lot faster. Now, hang on a second. Look at these production lines. How do I know which drug is which? Oh, we've got an event. I'm going to pause this while we take a look at it. Oh, a new product. One of our competitors, Excalibur Pharmaceuticals, has released a new product. Excalibur Headache Ease. Oh my God, that's a painkiller, right? So if we go to the company screen, right, we can look at Excalibur Pharmaceuticals. But their one, it eases migraine, so it's actually a more advanced painkiller than ours, but it causes constipation. Look at their current value, 263. So they're actually going to be making pretty good profits off this, but you watch, that value is going to come down over time because of these negative side effects. People won't like it, and the rating will go right down. This will go down to like probably an E. Right, how are we doing? We're doing great, and look, our profits on the wart remover are up to 91. Ho 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 ho. That's because there's a big net demand for this, and our drug rating has gone up. Excellent stuff. Right, let's go back to our production tab, and we'll kick off our production again. We can have this on double speed. Now, I was saying, how the hell do we know like what's producing what? Right, well, you can kind of sort of ish maybe tell from the different colours of the pills, but a good way to, I'm going to just go to a normal speed for a second. What we can also do is paint. This is very cool, right? You can paint the floors, and you can paint the different conveyor belts, right? So this one is producing Skye Egg Beater, which is our painkiller, right? Well, you know what? We'll have that as the basic green one. So that's that one over there, and this one over here. Now these are producing, what are they producing? They're producing the warty growth relief. Well, why don't we have these as like blue, right? So now we should be able to just mouse over these, click and drag, and change the colour to blue. And you can use this colour coding in all kinds of different ways. You could do it for to indicate different machines, or for different production lines, or for like however the hell you want. Kinda cool, isn't it, guys? Right, you know what? We've got our simple drugs made. We're making money. We've got what's this? You know what? Let's pause the game there. We have discovered a new ingredient. Look at this. We've got wilted silica gem. Excellent. And this soothes cold symptoms. Oh, but look at this. It's got 3 negative effects. It induces nightmares, urinary retention, which is never a good thing, guys, and it narrows the pupils. But there is a sweet spot of between 9 to 11. Right? In fact, 9 or 10, we'd have the cold symptoms, but we wouldn't have these other 3 effects active. So we can make a new drug with that. That's great news, right? And then we've got 3 lots of research have been completed. We've researched the Ionizer, so now we can upgrade to a female contraceptive. Awesome. And we've also got, go away. Oh, right click. There we go. We've also got the agglomerator. We've researched that. Awesome sauce. And we've also got alternative delivery, so we can research the creamer. Let's go to research. Woo, sweet. Now, I could fire all of these scientists if I wanted to, right? But that's kind of not a good thing to do. If we go up here, I want to assign a couple of guys to researching this creamer. So let's assign them, right? Well, if I left these two guys sitting here, they'd be costing me 60 a day, so 30 a day each, and they wouldn't be doing anything. Not so, good sirs. Because when they're sitting in this screen and they're not actually going and researching something specific, they produce these research points, and research points can be used to improve your technology, right? So if we go down to our machines, you'll see that each of the machines has an upgrade tab, right? And these can be used to decrease the processing costs. Okay. Now, if you think about it, we've got very, very simple production lines. We've only got like dissolvers. So we've got like 4 dissolvers out there. So if I upgraded this, which like just by 1, it would decrease our processing costs by $1 for each one of those machines. Well, you multiply that by 4 for the 4 machines we've got. So that's $4. That's $4 per pill, right? So that would be for like, we're making 4 different pills a day. So that'd be an extra $16 a day. This is significant, guys. You can also do the same thing with ingredients, right? So when your explorers aren't doing anything, and our explorer is not doing anything at the moment, right? He's going to be creating these ingredient upgrade points, right? And we can upgrade our ingredients. And what does that do? Well, it decreases the cost by 10% for each upgrade, right? Well, that means that this, if we decrease the cost of this, we'd be making an extra, $3 or $4 per pill per day, right? And we're producing two of these per day, so that's an extra 8 per day. So if we just upgraded this and upgraded one of our machines, we'd be making like an extra $20 a day, which is like a big difference from what we're making now. So don't underestimate the value of getting some of these upgrade points and doing some upgrades. Whew, man, was that enough for a first episode? I think it was. Guys, our production is looking very good. We're in a great position. We've already made over 600,000, and like we've only been going for like I don't know, like a month or so. So we're on for earning the master rank for completing this in only 5 years. Can we do it? Come back for the next episode and find out.